From the homepage, if you go to standings, you can see the 2022 projected standings. That's where we're going to jump in. And just first off, where do they have the Twins in terms of their projected record right now? They have them at 82-80, so barely over 500. That feels about right to me. Although there's a lot of variance baked into this team, you could see if things break right, them kind of elevating themselves up here. Or, you know, the other thing is definitely possible as well, to where they could fall, I think. But just in terms of, you know, where they were last year, you know, a 73-89 record last season, to have them projected to win almost 10 more games, the projection systems have them. That feels good. Now, of course, nobody projected the Twins to lose 89 games last year. So, you know, these aren't robots we're talking about. These are human beings. So let's take that into account when we're looking at these projections. You kind of always got to take them with a grain of salt. But if you scroll back up here, not only with the projected standings, but you can also go position by position. I thought this was interesting in a couple spots in particular. We'll just go through them all real quick. But at catcher, I was specifically kind of intrigued at where Texas would be with Mitch Garver, and they're 7th, and where the Twins would be. Now, I don't agree necessarily with all the projected playing times on these as well. You know, I don't think I would expect Ryan Jeffers will get more plate appearances as a catcher than Gary Sanchez will. I think Gary's probably going to DH a bit. So, you know, keep that in mind when looking through these as well. But they have the Twins as the 20th best catching core in baseball. So that's not super encouraging. You don't really love to see that. First base, something to keep in mind. These projections are, you know, including defense and base running. So, you know, the Twins with Miguel Sano, not going to rank super high there. He's 21st for the Twins for that group. Second base, you know, this is probably the strength of the Twins right now, is in the field up the middle. Jorge Polanco and company coming in at 7th. That feels, you know, about right, with some potential upside to be even higher than that. Shortstop, you know, the new guy, Carlos Correa, has elevated the Twins to the very top of the league at shortstop. How amazing is that? With that being such a massive question mark coming into this offseason, the Twins are the top team in terms of shortstop projections by FanGraphs. Third base, new look there as well. You know, kind of the same thing I was thinking about at catcher. The Yankees with Donaldson, you know, and they've got LeMahieu and some other guys mixing in at 7th. And the Twins with Urshela and some Arise all the way down at 17th. So certainly, you know, it seems like the Twins made themselves worse at 2 positions with that trade, but it obviously opened up the flexibility to land Correa and elevate that shortstop position so much. Left field, this is probably the one, and this is tricky to project, but I have a hard time seeing this being the way the playing time works out for the Twins. But all the way down at 22, and who knows what's going to happen, but the Twins have kind of indicated they don't really love having Luis Ariz out in left field, so you wouldn't think he'd get this much playing time. We'll see. So not looking really great either way with those projections. Center field with Byron Buxton, you know, I'm happy to see them number 2 here. That's very exciting. I think it's a little tough to project Buxton to get 567 plate appearances, but, you know, it's certainly not out of the question. And, you know, if it happens, definitely see them having one of the best center field units in baseball. Absolutely. So there you see kind of where the Twins are being really carried as far as the position players. Right field, you know, again, I mentioned the defense, the base running with first base. Right field, Max Kepler is a tremendous defensive right fielder. This was probably a little higher than I would have expected the Twins to rank for right fielders, but they're 8th in the league there. Skip over pitching for a minute and just go over to DH. I don't want to try to project the Twins DH plate appearances right now, because, you know, they don't have a regular DH. There's really a lot of ways that they could mix and match and rotate guys around there, and they've attempted to do that here and have come up with the Twins at 19th in the league. You know, kind of fun now that the NL has the DH. We can compare all the teams in this category. I think they've got probably somewhat of a, you know, I can't argue too much with the way this is projected. I think Gary's going to DH more than he catches. We'll see. We shall see. That's a tough one to project. Starting pitching, clearly the Twins' biggest need, you know, coming into the offseason, it really hasn't been addressed. This is updated to have Chris Archer in here, by the way. And, you know, it's not like the Twins can't make a trade. This has been a very strange offseason, but possibly they will make a really late trade. You don't see that often in spring training, but the lockout's done strange things to this offseason. You've got to scroll all the way down to 21st to find the Twins, and, you know, Sonny Gray doing a lot of the heavy lifting with that ranking. So, you know, and I don't think any Twins fan is really surprised by this ranking. Now, you know, it does Bailey Ober, a Joe Ryan have some more upside to carry this forward? Does a Josh Winder potentially? Sure. Even Jordan Balazovic, maybe he makes more of an impact later on than this is anticipating. Dylan Bundy could bounce back. So, yeah, there's some upside for them to be better than this, but I am not at all surprised that the projection systems would have them as a bottom 10 rotation at this point. The bullpen, this might be the one I was actually the most optimistic about seeing, and just felt really good to see how they ranked here, because the Twins usually piece together a good bullpen eventually, but that doesn't mean that you're projecting them to have a good pen right out the gate. There's things they do in terms of managing the roster that helps them usually end up with a pretty decent bullpen by the end of the year. And the Twins are projected to have the 9th best bullpen. That surprised me. And again, you know, kind of like in the rotation where Sonny Gray's doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the projections there, Taylor Rogers is definitely doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this projection for the Twins bullpen. But, you know, it's a nice top 4. And, you know, Joe Smith is coming off, you know, a poor season, but he looked good with Seattle at the end of the year. It's a nice bullpen. If everybody can stay healthy, that's always the key. But, you know, I think Jorge Alcala is a big sleeper. One of the better relief pitchers in baseball in the second half last season. Look up the numbers. He was an absolute beast after the All-Star break. And then you can actually look up the totals and have just kind of a snapshot of everybody here. So as you can see, if we look at it just in terms of, you know, position players, batters, fielders, however you want to say, the Twins are ranked incredibly high. Here they're 7th in the league in terms of hitters. And then, you know, pitching is where it slumps, but I think they're like 17th here. So it kind of middle of the road, but not toward the bottom, you know, thanks to the good bullpen projection for the most part. And then the total, the Twins are kind of a middling club. You know, what is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14th. So the Twins are 14th in terms of their total projected WAR for the team. That puts them sort of in the picture for the playoffs without even any further additional upgrades from here. And again, you know, there's no reason, even though it's kind of sounding like a trade is unlikely between now and opening day at this point, there's no reason they can't. They still could add some starting pitching. Now, this does put the Twins on the outside looking in terms of the American League postseason picture. You know, the top 6 teams we have are the Yankees, the Astros, the Blue Jays, the White Sox, the Rays, and the Red Sox. So both the Angels and Twins on the outside looking in, even with this expanded postseason. And as you can see here, the Mariners are right on the Twins' heels. So as far as whether or not I agree with this, I do. I think the Twins, I don't think I would project them to be in the playoffs right now, but I think they have enough variance. They have enough guys that have been really good in the past who, if they click, they can push this team further. They have enough young guys who have been in the high minors, so it's not like we're asking some 20-year-old kids to come up. These are guys that, you know, they've been in AA, AAA. You know, if some of those guys can come up and play better than we would expect, you know, there is that the opportunity, the window is there, the path to be a playoff team is there, and then anything can happen once you get into the playoffs. So it's a fun team. You know, we'll see what happens. They're going to have to get off to a good start to sort of put them into the position to be buyers instead of sellers at a deadline. I think that's going to have the biggest impact on where this team ends up, because I don't think they're going to end up as a 500 team. Either things get going well and they're going to make some further additions to push, or things get off to a slow start and they're potentially trading Correa. Even Taylor Rogers is in the last year. His deal, he could trade it. Sonny Gray could be on the trade block. So yeah, it could go either way. And right now they're kind of looking middle of the road. So we'll see how it breaks. Thanks for checking this out. And check out FanGraphs. Look through this stuff. Support them. Thanks for watching. We'll talk again soon.